much for sharing your story with us, touching on those issues that impact us all, and they do. Now you're on the other side, you're fighting the fight, advocating for people like us. So tell us a little bit about what that means to you to be doing this kind of work.
Well, first of all, it's almost a privilege to be in this position. I really don't have enough money as a person to run for office. But I have a lot of friends that are in the disability community that I would like to see them run for office, and they can't afford to do it at all. Like at all. They're on SSI or SSDI. It's impossible. And even the way of running for office is completely inaccessible. Even petitioning is inaccessible. I was saying this to Segunda because I was saying I wanted to make an appointment to get a group of people that are blind and visually impaired. And you have to make an appointment to go so you can have a proxy to help with signing because they won't allow people who are blind or visually impaired to sign online. They keep forgetting how this is leading people out of the process. So to me, what this process has meant to me is to see where all of the holes are, what is fundamentally broken about this process. One of the things that I have really seen that happens is that we keep electing the same types of people over and over and over and over again, and we're doing that because of the way that the process is put together. You've got to make at least 6 figures to run a decent campaign. I'm not talking about the money that you raise. I'm talking about the money that you have in your own bank account. For example, the other people that I'm running against, I'm the only person that doesn't make anywhere near 6 figures, that has a ton of student debt, that doesn't own $1 million house, that doesn't have $10,000 in stocks. I'm the only one that has that. So we can't have a system where that is how you get elected to office. All of them have consultants. I don't have consultants. I'm my own consultant. I wrote all 90 pages of my policy on my website. So we have to stop with that. We need to, we want to elect people that are authentic, which means that they're going to be imperfect. But that's what we need to do. So me running has shown me what needs to be changed and what needs to be fixed. I will say this, there's a lot of cottage industries that form around people running for office. I was hit up every single day by organizations that was like, hey, I can do something for you. I can charge you $5,000 a month to write your emails. I was like, well, I'm a professional writer, so I don't really need $5,000. You know, I don't make $5,000 a month. So to me, that is one of the reasons why it's going to be hard to get money out of politics. Is because you have so many organizations surrounding the candidate that are grifting money off of the candidate. So to me, I think that you can run a congressional raise, raise the max of $100,000 and still win, but you can't do that if you're competing against other people that are raising $1 million or $2 million or $4 million.
I just like how I'm really interested in like your focus on always reflection. As I was reading about I'm not really familiar with like political senior and not terms. I'm really interested in like how you'd want to like what you think of like expanding the sort of like work to students, especially as like a student attached, and like how you would like what is like the relationship between like politics and like education in that sense?
I would say this. Okay, let me move into basic civics. I think that one of the reasons why we're kind of in this mess is that civics has been taken out of education for a long time. I meet a lot of people that don't know what their local, state, and federal representatives do for them, what the differences are. Why does that matter? I met with a group of sex workers that were really upset with our local representatives in city council. And they were talking about, you know, they were frustrated that city council wasn't doing more. And I said, well, that's because you want to go to your state representatives. They're the ones that are going to pass that. City council, there's only so many things that city council can actually do, or they can do a lot of things, but it's different from what the state representatives do. And I was proud to say that that helped lead to the ending of Walking on Trans Ban, because I had to help put them in touch with the policymakers on the state and federal level. So I was really happy about that. As far as like city council is concerned, for example, Eric Adams had said something online guy. He had said something online about, hey, you need to be careful about where you're filming cops. And I had to tell him, hi, Mr. Mayor, we passed a law in 2020 in City Council where we can film them drinking coffee if we want to. We have every right. We have the constitutional right already, but we actually have the right by City Council. We can film them as close or as far as we want. They are paid through our tax money. That's the law enforcement. So I would like to see, as far as education and their relationship and relationship to elected officials, I would like more students to recognize that. I would also like to lower the voting age. Right now it's 18, but you can drive a car at 16 across the United States. And a lot of people have said to me, I had a couple of people have said, that's too young, that's too young. And I'm like, okay. They're under tables doing drills for gun violence. They are dealing with an environmental impact that a lot of people my age didn't have to worry about on a daily basis like that. And a car is a weapon. You know, if you are able to drive a car, why aren't you able to have a say over who your elected officials are going to be? So I would like to change the empowerment of students more about what, and their relationship to legislation. For a long time, people have said, and I understand it, they were just like, listen, I'm not really interested in what legislators do. I'm more interested in movement work because within movement work there's a little bit more, I'd say almost control than there is in legislation. In legislation, you have to compromise, you have to draft a bill, you have to do the research. It takes time to do it. But I would like to see more students right away, as soon as they become 18, run for office right away. I don't want them to think that they have to wait until they're 25 or 30. If they're eligible to run for a local office seat at 18, I say go for it. I want people to start being more involved in the legislative process. And I want more artists to be involved in this. And I said this to Amy, I think, a little bit earlier. It might have been Amy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One of the things that's really broken about politics in this country. Ooh, yes, thank you. One of the things that's really broken about it is that politics is allergic to creativity. And DC is allergic to creativity. But what does politics and policy need? It needs creativity. It needs to be able to see through multiple lenses and different angles and seeing what harm can be done and what help can be done. And who does that? That's artists. Artists are the ones that are examining all the time, looking, analyzing, figuring out how to change it or move it or what's behind it. That's not how a lot of people are thinking about legislation. Again, when we were talking about disability policy, one of the reasons why disability policy is garbage in this country is because the majority of people that are making it are not disabled. They're not from the disability community. And why is poverty policy so awful in this country? Because the majority of people that run for office are wealthy. I am the only person that's running in my district right now that's ever been on SNAP, that's ever been on welfare, that's ever been on house, that has ever understood real poverty, that has eaten beans and rice over and over and over again, and we were so lucky to have it. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you have really wealthy people that do not understand poverty at all, and they're the ones deciding, well, I think that, why would a disabled person need more than $2,000 in assets? Right? I think that seems fine. Really? That's insane, and that's cruel. So that's why I want to see more representation right away within politics and policy. That's why I want to see more creative people come into it. So yes, I'll say that.